This is disgusting habits of narcissists at night. Night. For most people, it's a time for rest, rejuvenation, and finding peace after the day's hustle and bustle. It's when our defenses lower, and we allow ourselves to be more vulnerable. Yet, for those living alongside a narcissist, night often becomes a hidden battlefield. When the world falls silent, the mask worn throughout the day might lift slightly. Or even worse, the narcissist's modus operandi can become more intense, more personal, and far more damaging. A narcissist's daytime behavior might already be exhausting enough, but there's a darker, more disturbing side that often only reveals itself when the lights dim. These aren't just bad habits, they are manipulative tactics designed to drain your energy, erode your sanity, and ensure you remain under their control, even in your sleep. If you've ever woken up in the middle of the night with an inexplicable anxiety, or fallen asleep feeling confused and crushed, chances are you've experienced a narcissist's nighttime tactics. In this video, we're going to expose 10 disgusting habits of narcissists at night that only those who've directly experienced them truly know. We'll discuss why they do this, how it impacts you, and most importantly, how you can begin to understand and protect yourself from this nocturnal invasion. This might open old wounds, but this enlightenment is the first step toward liberation. Let's delve into these chilling truths. When we talk about narcissism, we must understand that it's a complex personality disorder characterized by an excessive need for admiration, a lack of empathy, and often a pervasive sense of grandiosity. Yet, beneath that perfect facade, there is often profound fragility, shame, and inner emptiness. At night, when the external world no longer provides constant supply, the narcissist turns to their closest source. These are the moments when they feel safest to execute more subtle and intimate maneuvers. Here are 10 disgusting habits narcissists often engage in at night, which you might recognize with a sharp pang of pain. Recognizing these is key to understanding that you are not the problem, but rather a victim of deliberate behavior. Late-night gaslighting. Rewriting your memories before bed. Narcissists are masters at twisting reality, and nighttime is a particularly effective time for them to employ gaslighting. This occurs when you and the narcissist are alone, perhaps after you're already emotionally or physically exhausted from a long day. They'll initiate what seems like an ordinary conversation, but then subtly or overtly deny something they said or did earlier in the day. For example, they might say, "You must have misheard. I never said that." Or "You're too sensitive. It never happened the way you remember it." Their goal is to plant seeds of doubt in your mind right before you sleep. When you try to process this information in a fatigued state, your brain is more susceptible to confusion. This erodes your trust in your own memory and perception. You might spend hours trying to recall the details, feeling crazy for not being able to piece things together, eventually falling asleep with deep anxiety and confusion. This habit is truly disgusting because it attacks the core of your identity, making you feel unable to trust yourself, and it's done at a time when you should feel most safe and calm. Covert criticism and backhanded compliments. Poison beneath the covers. Night often becomes a time for narcissists to launch attacks on your self-esteem through covert criticism or backhanded, undermining compliments. This could be a comment like, "You know, you look really tired tonight, probably because you ate too much earlier today," or "You did great today, but honestly, you could have done better." They might utter something that sounds like praise, but embedded within it is a demeaning message, making you feel inadequate or pointing out your flaws. This tactic is designed to make you feel insecure and maintain control over you. By subtly eroding your self-worth, they ensure you remain dependent on their validation. This is done at night because you're more susceptible to self-doubt when exhausted, and there are no witnesses to their verbal abuse. This habit is disgusting because it exploits intimate moments to subtly undermine your spirit, poisoning your peace before you even close your eyes. 3. The silent treatment. Withholding affection. Punishing in the quiet. After an argument or even a minor disagreement during the day, night is when a narcissist often unleashes the cruel silent treatment, or physically withdraws affection. Instead of communicating or seeking resolution, they will deliberately ignore you, turn their back to you in bed, or refuse customary forms of intimacy. This is a form of passive-aggressive punishment designed to make you feel worthless, guilty, and desperate. This tactic exploits the human need for closeness and connection, turning the bed, which should be a space of intimacy and security, into a place of isolation and coldness. The narcissist knows that at night, you're more likely to dwell on conflicts and feel alone. This is disgusting because they consciously use emotional and physical connection as a weapon, making you feel as though you must earn back their affection, even if you've done nothing wrong. They drain your hope for reconciliation, leaving you feeling rejected and unwanted. 4. Late-night love bombing, luring you back into the trap. Paradoxically, after a period of emotional torment or even after you've tried to pull away, a narcissist might engage in late-night love bombing. This is a sudden attempt to overwhelm you with attention, affection, grand promises, and abundant words of love. Often right when you feel like giving up, they might suddenly become perfect again, talking about dream weddings, the home you'll buy, the world travels you'll embark on, or how they'll change and become the person you want them to be. They do this at night because they know your exhaustion and emotional vulnerability will make you more susceptible to this manipulation. It's their way of reeling you back in, securing their narcissistic supply. This habit is disgusting because they cruelly exploit your good heart and your desire for genuine love. They use your nighttime vulnerability to rebind you, deceiving you into believing they've truly changed when it's merely a tactic to maintain control. 5. Energy-draining sleep deprivation tactics, keeping you awake and weak. Narcissists often subtly or overtly employ energy-draining tactics at night that cause you sleep deprivation. This can involve initiating endless arguments right before bed, making unreasonable demands, or engaging you in deep talks that go nowhere, ensuring you stay up late. They might also deliberately create disturbances when you're trying to sleep, like making loud noises, turning on lights, or restless pacing. Their objective is to physically and mentally exhaust you. When you're sleep deprived, your cognitive abilities decline, your judgment is impaired, and you become far more easily manipulated and less able to resist. This is a strategy to keep you in a weakened, compliant state. This habit is disgusting because they consciously deprive you of a basic human need, rest for their personal gain. They drain your vitality when you should be recharging, always keeping you at a disadvantage. 6. Intimate triangulation. Introducing insecurity in bed. Night, especially in the bed which should be a safe space, often becomes a time for narcissists to engage in intimate triangulation. This means they'll subtly or overtly mention ex-partners, attractive acquaintances, or even compare you to others, often in a way that makes you feel insecure or jealous. They might talk about how amazing someone from their past was, or praise another person in your presence, creating a feeling of competition or inadequacy. This tactic is designed to create insecurity within you and to keep you on your toes, always striving to prove your worth. They want you to feel lucky to have them, and that there are many others willing to take your place. This is done at night because it's a time of intimacy, making such comments feel far more personal and hurtful. This habit is disgusting because it abuses your trust and vulnerability during intimate moments, deliberately instilling jealousy and self-doubt to maintain emotional control. 7. Late-night future faking, selling you false dreams. Narcissists are masters of future faking, which involves making grand, detailed promises about a beautiful future together that they have no intention of ever fulfilling. At night, when the atmosphere is quieter and more romantic, they'll passionately talk about dream weddings, the house you'll buy, the world travels you'll embark on, or how they'll change and become the person you desire. This is a powerful manipulative tool to keep you hooked and invested in the relationship, no matter how bad the current situation is. They provide false hope to prevent you from leaving. This habit is disgusting because they cruelly exploit your desire for a happy, stable future, using your own dreams and aspirations as bait. They play on your emotions and vulnerability at night, keeping you clinging to empty promises while continuing to abuse you in the present, trapping you in an endless cycle of waiting. 8. Nocturnal emotional dumping, blame shifting, leaving you drained. When narcissists can no longer control their own emotions or frustrations during the day, night often becomes the time for them to engage in massive emotional dumping, frequently accompanied by intense blame shifting. They'll unleash all their anger, anxiety, or frustration onto you, blaming you for every problem in their life or in the relationship. This can go on for hours, completely depleting your mental and emotional energy. Their goal is to purge their own emotional burden by projecting it onto you. They don't care about how you feel. They simply want to unload their emotional waste. You'll likely fall asleep exhausted and burdened by guilt that isn't yours to carry. This habit is disgusting because they turn you into a dumping ground for their emotional garbage, robbing you of the peace you deserve after a long day. You're left with a heavy burden that haunts your sleep while they feel relieved after draining you. 9. Controlling sleep bedtime rituals, disrupting your peace. Narcissists often exhibit tendencies to control your sleep patterns and nighttime rituals, ensuring that even your rest is under their influence. This can manifest in various ways. They might insist you go to bed at the same time as them, or not at all, make unreasonable demands that disrupt your winding down routine, or even actively disturb your own sleep by using their phone loudly, excessive restlessness, or frequent waking and waking you. The purpose behind this is to maintain a sense of absolute control over your life, even in the most personal aspects. They want to ensure you have no private space or downtime that they don't dominate. They'll feel threatened if you get quality sleep without them, as that might empower you to think clearly or assert yourself. This habit is disgusting because it flagrantly violates your right to rest and recovery, deliberately creating chaos in your nighttime routine to keep you disoriented and dependent on their schedule. 10. Sexual manipulation, coercion, intimacy as a tool of control. In intimate relationships, narcissists frequently employ sexual manipulation or coercion at night. This can range from subtle pressure to explicit demands for intimacy, regardless of your desire, mood, or emotional boundaries. They might use sex as a tool to gain control, as a reward after a conflict forcing reconciliation, or as a way to punish you by withholding it or granting it based on your compliance. They aren't seeking emotional connection, but rather the gratification of their own needs and the affirmation of their power. The objective behind this is to assert their dominance and gain narcissistic supply through control over your body and emotions. They view intimacy not as an act of mutual affection, but as their right or a means to manipulate. This habit is disgusting because it fundamentally disregards your bodily and emotional autonomy. It's a deeply personal and damaging form of betrayal, turning something that should be sacred and mutually beneficial into another form of depletion and control, leaving you feeling used, disrespected, and often defiled. Recognizing these 10 disgusting habits might feel like opening a painful Pandora's box. However, this is a crucial and empowering step. Understanding is the light that pierces through the darkness of their manipulation. You now know that your experiences are real, and you are not alone in facing these dreadful nighttime tactics. This isn't about you, it's about them and their personality disorder. While these habits are profoundly disgusting and damaging, this knowledge empowers you. It allows you to begin setting stronger boundaries, protecting your personal space, and refusing to be a receptacle for their nocturnal chaos. Remember, freeing yourself from this cycle takes time, courage, and support. You deserve peaceful nights, restorative sleep, and a life free from emotional manipulation. Start trusting your instincts again. Seek support from supportive individuals or professionals who understand these dynamics. Learn to prioritize your inner peace and mental health above all else. The first step is seeing the truth. The next step is taking action. You have the power to reclaim your nights, and with them, reclaim your life. You deserve peace. Thank you for joining us in uncovering these crucial truths. If this video has brought you enlightenment, or you feel it could help someone else who might be trapped in a similar relationship, please don't hesitate to share it. Let's collectively spread awareness and support. See you in the next video.